This has nothing to do with the team that's opposing us. This is about us. This ain't got nothing to do with the naysayers, the unbelievers, the haters, the doubters. This is about us. When we started this journey, we told you it was gonna be trying, it was gonna be tough, but you endured because it's about us.
Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Pittsburgh Athletics, so you can catch all the episodes of Coach's Corner. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another episode of Coach's Corner. Hey, what's going on, Coach?
How you doing?
I'm all right, sir.
All right.
I see that you're ready for battle for this week.
Yeah, once again, prepared for Big Thursday.
Big Thursday. I swear, Coach, this has been the first time, and I don't know when, that we played more Thursday night football games than Prime got TV.
Right. Feel like the NFL a little bit. Every Thursday is always a game. But once again, let's get ready. Short week. Do everything you got to do and just be good at what you can do. You can't put so much in. So, hey, let's get ready.
Yeah, by this time in the season, Coach, I guess everything that you have installed, put in, went over, reviewed, and everything ain't too much to adjust right about now.
Right. I mean, you just got to go ahead and be good at what you do, be good at the fundamentals, and have a better understanding of what you need to do in order to, keep yourself in the ball game and give you a chance to win.
Definitely, Coach. So speaking of winning, Coach, there have been teams in the area, Cumberland, Amelia, that have canceled the season due to numbers.
Right.
More parents have had hesitation about allowing their kids to play football because of the CTE results and things like that. But on the contrary,
right
here in Petersburg, they love them some football.
Love basketball more, but they love football too.
And they do love basketball. We have a history of basketball. You can look at the record books. But, we have the different youth leagues here, and we've had them for several years. What would you say to the parent that's contemplating allowing their kid to play football?
I say let you think about it for your child. When it all comes down to it, it's their body that they're putting out there on the line. It's okay to play multiple sports until they really decide on something they might want to concentrate on later on. But I say get together with your son, your daughter. If females play as well, and y'all make the best decision together. You got to be careful of pushing your child to doing something they really don't want to do.
Definitely, Coach. And we've seen a couple of weeks ago that Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback for the Dolphins, he went down on a routine play, and it's I think his third or fourth concussion in the last few years. And again, a lot of these concussions are, as a spectator, you would think that the hard hit,
right.
Really, with all the padding and stuff on, that doesn't really hurt that much. It's those silent hits that it seems to be the ones that take you out the most.
It's a violent game, and anything can happen. It could be a hard hit, it could be a small hit, it could be no hit. You just could fall to the ground, and a lot of times it comes from your head hitting the ground or some kind of object. That's why they so much on a targeting or whatever. Just trying to really get that right. But even last year when you looked at the Buffalo Bills, they're hitting the chest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's something you really got to think about doing. And these kids and these young college players and adults in the NFL, they putting their life on the line, whatever. So, you got to really look up and respect the gladiators or whatever decision they make.
Definitely, Coach. And speaking of targeting, there was a call this past Sunday, Detroit and Green Bay. And the defensive back got thrown out of the game for targeting, hit the guy in the ear hole. But again, as a defensive player, you're told to square your body up, lower your shoulder, and deliver the proper tackling techniques. But lots of times as an offensive player, you're getting low as well. So it's like who gets lower the fastest may not get that attempt at that targeting hit. And it's kind of hard when you move in at a split second.
Right. I mean, it's going to be mistakes. It's the guys that do it deliberately, try to hurt you, that makes it bad for the sport. But some of the times, if not most of the times, it's actually a mistake because you're trying to react on the run. The offense is knowing what they're doing. The defensive person usually has to react, and mistakes happen at times, and that's why they try to be on the whole penalizing and ejection, because they want to keep the game under control. Because you got to watch out for the young men that's just going to keep continuously keep taking the chance no matter what. Of don't worry about whether you're getting hurt or not. As a player, when I came up, it didn't matter. If
Yeah.
we wanted to hurt you, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And now I can see why the game has evolved a little bit, man. It's a lot more dangerous, and I kind of wish back in my day a little bit more that they would have looked at that then. But for me as a player, man, I wanted to go get it, and it didn't matter because we was raised that way. Where now, it's much more serious, and I can understand where the parents coming from.
Definitely, coach. And you mentioned a little bit about females playing football. Now,
Hmm.
a lot of high schools are now have gone to adopting flag football
Hmm.
for the young ladies. How do you think that has impacted just the game of football itself? I mean, there have been stories of young ladies playing tackle football with the
Hmm.
guys. Not just relegated to being a kicker,
Right.
but they're actually in the contest inside the action, and now they
Hmm.
have been given their own space to play competitive flag football. How do you think that has evolved the game of football?
Well, I've had females that play on the team with us before, and they weren't just kickers. So I
Mhm.
don't think I had a kicker at all. To be honest with you, too. Now recently, where we got soccer players kicking now, but it's their choice. Like I say, it's a gladiator sport. Flag football, you kind of got to watch out, because if you go back and you look at the numbers in the past, it's the concussions might be up there too. It's
Oh
easier
wow.
to get. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have the protective helmet on your head all the
Hmm.
times. So it's risk there too. You get easily break bones, and same people going after the ball, knee injuries, leg injuries. I seen kids break legs at 7-on-7 before.
Wow.
Where just running into each other. Not I don't want to say being aware, but just attacking the ball. Sometimes you put your body on the line, and that's how you can get hurt. So, but it's interesting for the ladies. That's good. Whatever. If they want to put on the equipment to come out with the men, no problem.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And again, when you think of flag football, you think, okay, this is, how we played in gym class back in the day. You would
Mhm.
go out and play two-hand touch. The worst thing that
Right.
would happen is you would jam your finger or something, the guy and kick you in your finger.
Right.
But when you like you just broke down, two people going for the same ball. Now you're
Hmm.
playing. You don't have no protective gear on. You don't have anything, so you going shoulder to shoulder with
Yes.
somebody. And who's to say that the person's shoulder that you're going with is a little bit made out of more titanium than yours, so you
Right.
can definitely hurt something in
Yes.
that aspect.
Yes. You can. I mean, but in the sport,
Mhm.
every sport,
Yeah.
you can get hurt. Gymnastics. Look at that. That's dangerous too. You got to train.
Oh wow, gym
For that.
coach, we're not even gonna get on gymnastics. I can't even do a somersault, and these competitors are flipping in the air and sticking their landings, not worried about bumping their head and stuff. So that's definitely commendable on their part.
Right. Think
As
about how many times they practice and they don't stick the landing where the
yeah,
fall is really bad. So by the time they do it so much, by the time they get in competition, you don't see those parts. You know what
you
I'm saying?
don't see there isn't any outtakes
Right.
of gymnastic performances and things of that nature.
Right.
But coach, you had three sons
Yes.
that all have played and are playing football now.
Hmm.
Was there a conversation with you and your wife and the family about them playing football?
Um, I mean, I guess every day was really a conversation, because football has been in our family life the whole entire time. My brother and I both started playing when we was 8 years old, talking tackle football. You
Uh-huh.
had to have permission and stuff, because you weren't supposed to start until you were 9 at that time, way, way, way back in the day. But my oldest son, he actually started playing when he was 7.
Okay.
My middle son, he started playing with, believe it or not, he was 4. And my youngest son, he was 4. I'm talking tackle football,
Yeah.
So now these are the kids that you're seeing that was part of the Bird Boys, part of the Flames, and played the spring football, played winter football, played summer, even when it was COVID that year, all of them played together and stuff. So it's just been around for a long time. It's pretty much been an understanding that, their mother, me, what I'm saying, I got an older daughter who's 29 years old who used to rough them up, so they pretty much really just used to it.
Wow, coach. I know my mom. back in the day, back in the 90s. I wanted to play for the youth football team. My mom was like, "You ain't gonna go out there and get broke up with them big boys."
Mhm.
So I finally convinced her to play when I got to high school. I was a late bloomer, and I remember her not wanting to come to the games because she was scared her baby was gonna get broke up out there on the field. So I can definitely empathize with the moms and with the sons that really want to play this game.
Right.
And that brings us to Friday night, which was a senior night,
Mhm.
and we had 12 seniors.
12 seniors.
12 seniors, and that was a very long pregame celebration.
Very long. Didn't have much pregame to warm up. Maybe that affected us a little bit. But hey, no excuses.
Yeah,
But you like we talked about injuries. I'm happy that the guys got to make it to the senior night because
yeah,
had senior night had been, but we had to play Matoka. We only had 24 kids because 12 were already hurt.
yeah.
So
We might have had the ambulance crew roll some people
yeah,
out
come
there.
on out here.
Definitely with that, coach. But looking at senior night, and we saw a lot of families out there represented,
Mhm.
a lot of moms and a lot of dads out there supporting their kids. And when you look at that, um, does that make the work that you and your staff even that much more important?
I feel like it's one of the most important things before you even step out on the field. All the memories that you've gone through, or even some players, it was their first time maybe even playing. Just to come be a part of the game period and the whole team concept. We done went through a whole lot of concentrating on the grades.
Yeah.
You're in there doing study hall where you could be in the weight room. But
Hmm.
what comes first?
Yeah,
You have to
definitely.
juggle that time around and stuff, man. But going to college games, we were just talking about that. We went to Norfolk State last year together as a team. This year we went to East Carolina together as a team, but I didn't go. I had COVID, but we still go. One man don't stop the show.
Yeah.
So, but those memories we're all we're talking about as a team before the last practice before the game, shared our tears, gave our hugs, and said, "Hey man, let's move on. It was fun." Carrying on. Those are the biggest things for us as coaches that we really, really, really gonna miss.
Definitely, coach. And even though we didn't get the win, the
Mhm.
future does look very bright.
It
And
does.
how was the post game meeting?
Uh Man, I mean, the biggest thing was we were accountable. We understood that we had a special team miscue. We muffed the punt. Then you turn right around and they get a good kickoff fumble. Then
Yeah.
it's a short field. Then you're down 14-0. Then you go right in before the half and you try to score, even though you're getting the ball back. You got to weigh yourself, man. Am I being greedy or
Hmm.
do I go ahead and go for where I got to go? We went for where we had to go. The really good players scored all the touchdowns again. Next thing you know, you're down 21-zip at halftime.
Yeah.
Then um, offense hadn't really been on the field in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half, they got it together, come back, they scored. Defensively, we give up a score.
Yeah.
Offense come back again, score again. Then we had 10 people on the field on defense. They come back, they score again. So then it kind of like really put it out of range for us, whatever. But you go back, you make the corrections, you look at it, and just try to get ready for the next Thursday that you're about to play.
Next Thursday, you're right, coach. We had some miscues, and in the first quarter, we had one possession.
One,
One possession in the first quarter.
one,
Yeah, and I think that for the first half, we may have had maybe two, possibly three possessions.
3 possessions. Like wow.
Yeah, and with a struggling offense like ours, that is really catastrophic because now you're looking at they have condensed the game.
Right.
So it's like now you putting pressure on offense that we almost have to score every
Mhm.
time we get the ball.
And it throws you out of rhythm.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get a rhythm. I felt like they did a pretty good job, man, to be honest with you. But like I say, it throws you out of rhythm. After the second fumble, defense was on the field again,
Hmm.
but it was a 40 play, 13 play drive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how angry can I be with the defense when they held them to 13 plays and they got to score on the 1 inch line? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like weighing your goods, weighing your positives and your negatives together, whatever, man. But we just had some terrible plays,
Yeah.
and we held ourselves accountable at the end of the game. I felt like we showed good sportsmanship. We didn't, act out.
Mhm.
We put it on ourselves, and that was the biggest growth and maturity that I've seen from my team.
Yeah, and definitely Keith Melton, who's had a phenomenal season. I hope that there's some scouts out there looking at this young
Yeah.
man, because he not only played defense, but we had a glimpse of it during the Matoka game. But this week, coach, he scored twice, and it's
Yes.
like he was running with some kind of urgency, some kind of anger, some kind of aggression when he scored those 2 touchdowns. It was like Earl Campbell from the 70s with the Oilers. It took more than one man to bring Keith down.
Yes.
And that's showing what did that show you? What did that show the team? What did it show about the character of that young man?
Keith Melton is a really good athlete. He can run the football. You didn't see it early because of, he had injuries earlier that prevent him from being able to be back there. So now that he's gotten better, it's good to see. Now you want to cut out those mistakes so you can see it more from him. Another one who we really didn't get to see is Amir Minot. We need to be able to use him a little bit more to make it a good 1-2 punch. Xavier's a good back too, but he had the little injury or whatever, so we had to kind of step back off of him for a little while. But you got other guys that can step up. I feel like the line blocked better the last 2 games, so now it's starting to come together, but it's almost over now. But we at the end where you still got a chance.
Still got a chance.
That's all you can ask for. You just still have a chance.
Still got a chance. And Keith had such a good game that on CBS 6 Friday sports lineup, he was the feature.
In 2 weeks in the Region 3A playoffs, Colonials had won 4 in a row over the Wave coming into tonight. They led 21-0 at the break, made it 21-8 when Keith Melton scored from 8 yards out, 2-point conversion, made it a 13-point deficit. But then Zamarian Mason hits Camonte King. That'll give the Colonials a first down. Mason will end the drive by himself, a 3-yard touchdown run. Colonials led 28-8 at that point. Colonials make it 5 wins in a row in this rivalry as they take it 33-14 to final.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the feature. Even though we lost, CBS 6 Sports, shout out to Petersburg alum Sean Robertson, who is one of the sports anchors at CBS 6. He was featured in the little vignette of the game from Friday, scoring the touchdowns, things of that nature. So, again, Keith has had a phenomenal season. Again, we had some other guys that, our offense has been kind of shaky that have not been able to show their presence. Like I said, Amir against Matoka, he had a dominant game. We have a stable of, I guess, if you could create your super team, Earl Campbell, Jerome Bettis, Eric Dickerson, we kind of have all 3 of them in the players that we have, but just our offense cannot seem to come to fruition like it should in the ability to use all those backs.
Yeah, and we got to give him a chance to get on the field. You have 1 possession in the first quarter. You got to cut stuff like that out. I felt like Hopewell too is the same thing. I guess we was talking about it earlier. Like a team will have 40-something plays and we'll have 40-something plays, which was odd to me because all together you would see almost 150, 160 plays on the clip put together. So something is it's right there. It's just trying to, generate more, I want to say first downs and move it along, matriculating down the football field. But you got to give them a chance and get themselves in the rhythm and playing tougher teams too as well. But I saw improvement. So now we just need to go ahead and try to put it all together, man, and see what we can do. Despite the tough Thursday game against Thomas Dale, but what more can you ask for? Just the chance and the opportunity to play against another good program.
Definitely, Coach. And like I say, I remember my senior night, and that's the one game my mom came and saw. And I scored off of a tip. It was almost like the Commanders and the Bears Hail Mary was a tip, and I caught it and ran it in. But we lost against a good team at that time, Nottoway High School, which we talked about last week. Is going to be playing TJ and Armstrong next year. And I know how it feels to lose that final game against a team that at that time we hadn't beaten 4 years either. So it can be a little heartbreaking. with that. But like I said, there is another opportunity.
Yes.
And in a minute, we'll get to this algorithm we call BSHL playoff rankings. This thing, I need to call in the calculus teacher to figure out how to do this thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. After the game, Coach, you all did the final walk.
Yes.
What did that mean between you and those seniors?
I just wanted to make sure the seniors kept it going along. They really didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't know. So trying to make sure we still keep some things that we have, the tradition here at Petersburg that we've had since umpteen years. I wanted to make sure we always kept that. Another thing, the writing on the wall in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's our alma mater.
Yeah.
We used to sing that all the time where
Yeah.
the kids don't even really know it now, but it's right there on the wall for that.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we need to get more back into things like that as far as overall culture for Petersburg High School altogether, you know, learning those things. So the wave walk was something I wanted to make sure that we continue. I wish the cheerleaders were able to stay too, because, you know, they're seniors as well.
Yes.
Usually we do it with them. So they probably didn't understand and know either.
Yeah, and again, with those symbolic things that as we add to the culture of Petersburg High School and the Petersburg athletics, those are some things that we can definitely implement to make sure we keep that tradition alive, because there are some older alumni for those glory days that remember those things and remember that the turmoil that happened when Peabody and Petersburg High School joined together and they became one unit here in the city, and how much the wave walk and the alma mater and the other things that happened here at the high school meant. So again, bring back a sense of wave pride that we speak about all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
So Coach, get into the playoffs in a minute. Thomas Dale is up next on Thursday. Now, through the tea leaves, as Marvin Gaye said, I heard it through the grapevine, Thomas Dale has had some issues of their own this year. And they lost to Hopewell last week. All of a sudden, Hopewell, as now again, I've heard it through the grapevine, I can't confirm it or deny, because unlike the NFL and college football, we don't have injury tickers to let us know who's doubtful, probable, things like that. But I've heard that Hopewell has sustained some serious injuries as well. But
in major positions, I should say.
Yeah, in major positions. But they beat Thomas Dale last week, and Thomas Dale is a Region 6 team, and we'll talk about that in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, we will get to this playoff stuff in a minute. But they won the ball game, and they went from 3-2, leapfrogged over IC Norcom.
Yes. They beat a Division 6 team, so they end up getting 26 points times 2, because Thomas Dale won 5. So they got an additional 36 points, and it really boosted them up. Even though IC Norcom did win, but they didn't beat a Division 6 team who had already had 5 wins. So it really made them jump. But it's interesting because they lost a very good quarterback and a very good running back. But they did a good job of sticking to their game plan and taking their shots when they needed to. Like really, like that's what they did. That's good discipline. That's good coaching on their part to still keep that team together and play pretty good defensive football. They stayed patient. Thomas Dale ran the ball pretty well, but you know, they broke a couple big runs that made the game kind of close, 21-14, you know, as usual. But when they needed to hold it together, they stayed patient and continuously made them have to earn everything. As far as Hopewell, the young man number 14, who's also from Petersburg, his dad went to Petersburg too. Just to let you know, he did a very good job. You know, no one really expected him to be the passer that he was in, even though he was a Berg boy that played, you know, pretty well. I'm not gonna say his name, number 14. Very proud of you. Good job, young man. But he made some throws to some really good fast receivers and caught some mismatches. But he also took some short passes as well when he needed to, and he ran the ball and got first downs as well as he needed to. So he really stuck to being disciplined and doing what he was taught, you know, from what I watched on the film, and they were able to pull it out, you know, and it gives us, you know, Division 3 teams hope playing against teams like that when we see it.
Sidebar, Coach, is one of your favorite movies Mystery Detective? Did you watch Murder, She Wrote as a kid, trying to figure out who killed the person?
I did watch Murder She Wrote because, like I said, I lived in McKinney and we ain't had cable, so my aunts had to make us sit there and we all had to watch the same thing, and I did not have a clue of what I was watching at all. But I was watching it though.
Oh, the reason why I asked you, Coach, because you sat there and you dissected the whole videotape of that Thomasdale and Hopewell game. It's like you know the formula. It's like you are Dr. Frankenstein. You know the formula to put the monster together. Can we put the monster together?
To be honest with you, as far as looking at the tape and stuff, when I was an assistant, I was under Remus James my second year, and Remus used to really observe the film in a different kind of way than everybody else.
Yeah,
he looked at it from an overall team perspective and patterns and trends that a team just makes that you can't do nothing about.
Yeah,
you know, regardless if you got a pattern, you got a trend, you just have it. I learned that from him.
Okay,
and just watching it, and I could see it looking at the game, and despite Hopewell losing their players and lose. I'm talking about a really good quarterback going to Hampton University, a really good running back that's going to go somewhere and play. You know, to lose those two guys, they just moved on to the next and still had their kids believing and decided to shrink the game and take the shots when they needed to. Just watching that, you know, every week is just something I got early on as an assistant.
Okay.
First, you know, then I growing on as a head coach, watching the patterns and trends is what I learned from Remus. You know, and he would tell me throughout the years, man, watch out for this because in the fourth quarter they go get it going like a machine. He'll be right about what he's saying. So I actually started watching film a different kind of way. And yes, you have an opportunity to get it together and get that engine and get it rolling. You know, it's not now, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. It's not all the players making the mistakes. We're making mistakes too as coaches. We're doing we could do a much better job. You know, it's inexcusable to have not enough people on the field, inexcusable to have too many people on the football field. It's inexcusable to not run on the field, not run off the field. You know what I'm saying? Either you're coaching it or you're letting it happen. And I feel like, you know, it's a little bit of both of us right now. And but you know, you just keep trying to get better until you can see that they ignite. But like teams like Hopewell showed you, Colonial Heights played with 3 different quarterbacks. So these 3 different quarterbacks that they have do 3 different things. So what excuse do you really have? You know, team like Lake Terror plays cover 0, which is straight man-to-man, no free safety in the middle of the field all the time. Done it for years, been to the playoffs for so many years, won a couple of championships. So what is your excuse? You know, there is none. You got to still try to find a way, and that's what you want to teach your kids and your program all together. So you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Like, we need to put it together, man. Because we got the talent. You can pull it together.
Definitely have the talent, Coach. And we see that every Thursday or Friday. I mean, because we played half our games on Thursday. But you see the talent, and it's as a spectator and listening to the spectators, they are so incensed by the progress that we made.
But I understand how our fans feel. I understand how our parents may feel. I'm a Philadelphia Eagle fan. Whenever our Philadelphia Eagles football team don't do well, we ride them real hard. You know, that's how Pittsburgh is. You know, basketball, good gracious. Coach Massenberg got a coach, man. 1 minute you great, where you had a loss, oh my gosh, they all over you. Bill go all the way to the state championship, lose 1 game, and he's like, he was the worst coach in the world. No way. No way. But I understand because it's part of the game, and you want to win, and Petersburg want to win, and they deserve it, to be honest with you. The kids really deserve it because they did done everything that I asked of them to do to this point that a kid can do. And, you know, that's okay. Like you said, in the future, it's going to continue to build, and it's going to be great. You know, I told them out with the old regime, in with the new. When I very first started coming, it was out with the old and in with the new. And it's the same thing that's going to continue to go. Pittsburgh football going to be really good next year and beyond.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, Coach. You have been a steward of the team for years, and again, your vision, your passion, and your grace, because you need a little grace in there, has groomed these young boys into men, and they've been able to go on and be successful past the football field. So again, that's a credit to you.
I appreciate that. But now these boys deserve to win on the football field in whatever way and whatever needs to happen in order for them to get that, because they've been giving us the things that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to just happen. It's that time.
It is that time,
It's
Coach.
that time. It's about the program. It ain't about no one person at all. It's about the program.
And speaking about that time, it's time to talk about playoffs.
All right.
So with a loss, you only dropped one space. You went from 6 to 7 with a loss.
Yeah.
You know why? Because everybody else behind you lost last weekend too.
Yeah.
So, so you're talking about cards falling into place. Everything kind of fell into place. The only team that won that was behind you was Grafton.
Right.
But Grafton is still down at the bottom, hoping, praying, and wishing that a couple more teams lose next week so they can climb up.
Right. Grafton plays York this week, and that's going to be a crucial game right there between the two, because York is right there at 9. Grafton's kind of like a little bit down there, but for us, you don't know which one you really want to win.
You're right. You're right on that. And again, and with Hopewell's when they moved to 2. So again, we switched positions, but we're still playing each other. The playoff started today.
Right.
This is almost like they want to see us play each other.
I mean, Hopewell got a good football team. They beat us. Of course, I would love to see it again.
Mm-hmm.
Colonial Heights got a good football team. Hey, man, they beat us. Of course, I'd love to see it again.
Yeah.
Some things that you do different, but whatever the Lord puts forward to be for us, if it's for us to go, hey, man, we're going to go out here and be excited. If it's not meant for us to go, hey, man, we're going to move on, because the 25 team is coming to make some noise. And, from that JV team, we've been building it for years, and here it is. Bird Boys started way back when they was like saying 4 years old.
Yeah.
And Flames, all of them, they had it together. Just a series of people and kids. And now you got a middle school football team that's all put together. They're ready to get ready to take the next step. And we like to see this to be a good prelim for us. But, man, we're excited to still be in the conversation right now. We're at 7.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 7. You can't complain. Just be appreciative of what you have.
Definitely, Coach. So if we're looking at this, 1, 2, and 3 are kind of, far out for us to even try to catch.
And 4. They're all 4 of them in their 20s.
Yeah, in the 20s, yeah. In the 20s, Colonial Heights is at 21.5, and they play an undefeated TJ team this week. So even win or lose, their TJ is a Region 3 team, so they're not going to get a whole lot of points for that.
They'll get, I'm glad you said it, because we're talking about breaking it down. If you beat a Division 3 team, you'll get 20 points.
Okay.
In the same division, you'll get 20 points. Times 2 of every victory that they got.
So they have 9 times. That's 18. So if they win, that's 48 points. Colonial Heights can shoot all the way up to the.
Watch out! It could change again.
Yeah, it could change. It could jump again.
It could go to. They could go to 2.
Yeah.
It can move. It can move around.
It can move around.
Still could beat Prince George, and it's be a possibility.
A possibility. And Prince George is a 5 team. I think Prince George is
also looking to get in the playoffs. They're right there at 9.
Yeah.
So them and Hopewell is going to be a competitive game.
It's going to be a battle, and like I say, Prince George is hovering around the 500 mark. So again, that could be consider a boost for Hopewell as well. So again, Lafayette, they are Region 3 team. They don't play. I'm going to say they don't play good competition, but they don't play the level of 5 and 6 teams that we play.
They may not. They don't. But if you look at their score, it's 40, 50, 50, 40, 30. Like they're playing the ball that you really can play. I don't see too many scores where you even scored in the 20s.
Yeah.
For them.
They are balling out there in Williamsburg at Lafayette High School. At 5 is Heritage. Now Heritage jumped up. They were right behind you last week. They jumped up to number 5 at 19.4 rating, but they're done for the year.
That's it.
They're done. So they're sitting here, and there's nothing they can do to help their case anymore this year. They'll probably still make the playoffs, but they may move up or down. I mean, depending on what happened this week. Tab is 19.2, and they play a 7-2 Smithfield team. Which they are a Region 4 team, so they'll get a little bit more points. Playing a Region 4 team if they win. Smithfield and Tab has been a competitive battle over the last few years.
And it's interesting that you say that, because the Tab and the Smithfield game is pretty interesting, because If you go back and you look at the breakdown, like we got like 171 points. They got like 173. You take those games, you divide them by 9.
Yeah.
You divide them by 9. That's what's coming out with the score. When
Yeah.
you see the 19 point, what is it, 19.2,
19.2, yeah,
that we have.
Yeah.
So, if they were to lose to Smithfield, we could possibly jump them.
Yeah.
When you said, but they at 6, right?
They are at 6.
Right. It's a possibility because we're playing a Division 16.
Yeah.
They give you a good accumulation of points too.
Yeah.
I mean, win, hey, for us,
it's done deal.
We're gonna jump people.
Yeah.
Whatever. But if you trying to weigh and look at the whole picture, this is where everybody's looking at. So that Tab and Smithfield game is gonna be a very good one too, just like Grafton and York is too to look at.
Grafton and York. Lakeland is at 8 with 18.7. They play Deep Creek out of Chesapeake.
Right.
And they are a 5 region team. And number 9 is York at 18.4, and they play Grafton, like I said, this weekend.
Right.
And that should be a good game. So again, at 19.2, sitting at 19 even, a win definitely sends us into the stratosphere.
Absolutely.
A loss, it hurts, but it hurts, but it doesn't hamper our chances of making the playoffs.
Right. Like you still got a chance because with Thomasdale being a Division 16, of course you win that game, you get 26 points times 2 of the 5 that they would have. So that's another 36 points. So it'll move you up. All right. I'm just making the math simple from where I looked at my breakdown personally. With an unfortunate loss, you'll get 14 points plus another 6 for each winner they have. You get 1 point for each winner they have.
So that'll be
loss.
12.
20. It'll be 14 plus 6 will give you 20. Remember, when you play a Division 3 team and you get a win, that's 20 points.
Yeah.
So it's like playing a winless Division 3 team. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's my math, y'all. That's how I look at it. All math don't necessarily got to be the same, but that's how I looked at it. But it's a little breakdown on the VHSL if you want to look at it, and you'll see something that has one section has just points, and these points are pretty much accumulated for if you beat a Division 3 team 4, 5, 6, you get this amount of points. If you lose, you get that amount of points. Over here is bonus points.
Yeah.
Bonus points is each victory that team has.
Yeah.
And if you beat the team, you'll get 2 extra points for each victory that they have. You lose to the team, you get 1
point.
Some of these teams, they played against each other. So for us, we're winless in the Central District. So we'll get 1 point, period. Because Hopewell, Prince George, they play against each other. It don't matter. We lost to both of them, we'll get a point from one of them. You have Matoka, Dinwiddie, we lost to them, don't matter. We'll get 1 point out of that added to it. But playing Thomasdale, that's where you get the accumulation of the points, you know what I'm saying? Even though the Division 3, Division 6 is a big range of, you know what I'm saying, disproportionate. But, I've been looking, as you can tell. I've been looking.
Yeah, I think we've all been looking, Coach, and has the pressure ramped up? This is like almost since the Dinwiddie game, we're playing almost playoff type football because we're trying to get that win, trying to find that momentum, trying to find that synergy. And then last week you beat Colonial Heights, automatic. And this week you beat Thomasdale, automatic. Does that add any element of pressure?
Let me tell you what I've learned from just watching certain things about Nick Saban. He said this. He was talking about when he was at Michigan State. When he was at Michigan State, they was in the same scenario.
Yeah.
They had a game. They had games they needed to win, and they was losing them.
And Nick, people talk about this concept of losing a team when things start to go sideways.
Well, I think you have a greater chance to lose your team when you're transactional as a leader, which is the way I was until 1998. In other words, everything was about winning or losing. And when we won, I patted people on the back. But when we didn't win, I was probably too harsh, didn't use it as a teaching moment. And negative experiences without teaching kills morale. In 1998, We were going to play Ohio State. They were #1 in the country. We were 4-5 at Michigan State. They were getting ready to fire me at Michigan State. And I don't think we can win the game. So I said, what's my approach going to be? So I had to change into being a transformational leader. You know, somebody who was somebody that players could emulate, you know, cared about the players for their benefit, not my benefit. You know, had a vision for what we would accomplish and how we were going to do it, and had value-based principles that were going to help them be successful in life. And play one play at a time. Everything's about process. Nothing's about outcomes. And we became a different kind of team. We actually won that game. It turned around. And, you know, my coaching career actually changed 360 during that time as well.
I looked at it now and I said, man, you know, last week our kids were really locked in. They took the game serious.
Yeah.
Dinwiddie was the same way, and I felt like we were too uptight. We weren't loose enough, and I feel like this is more of a loose type team, and I have to take more of a transformational than transaction type thing. You know what I'm saying? For as far as coaching wise, so that's my adjustment. Man, we're gonna kick back. We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna have a good time. We ain't gonna put too much pressure on ourselves. And man, we're gonna make mistakes. Let's do what we got to do to make up for the mistakes. We made some mistakes versus Colonial Heights. We did make up for them. Believe it or not, man, Colonial Heights made mistakes too. They threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
They also had a botched punt that actually got blocked and gave us a short field.
Yeah.
But they made up for it, and they played in a real loose type tone.
Yeah.
And I feel like we got to do the same, man. You know, let's not make this bigger than what it really should be. It's a game, and our kids should go out here and have fun.
Definitely. And one extra point, Coach, about pressure. The JV team's 9-0.
Love it.
9-0, and they play Thomasdale on Wednesday at home. And again, you can get your ticket at gofan.co to watch that game here live at Andrew J. White Field on Wednesday. 10-0.
10-0.
10-0. And I know they're excited. They play a great brand of football. But again, you know, sometimes when you go for the inevitable, just like the Patriots and the Giants in the Super Bowl, the Patriots were 17-0.
Right.
And met the Giants in the Super Bowl. And if it weren't for a lucky catch, you know, Patriots could have had the greatest team of all time.
Right.
But I guess when you have prepared for the moment, there really isn't any pressure.
Right. Well, our kids, like you say, you know, speaking of JV, let me tell you about the commitment that they had. They really prepared them for this moment. They decided as a team, them and Coach Mathis, Coach Bonner, Coach Joe, they were in the summertime and they decided, like I said, I may have said it last week, they would come up to the school, start their workout at 12, take a break, and then wouldn't leave till 6. As a JV football team doing that. And they pretty much laid their foundation, their expectations. Coach Bonner, Coach Mathis held them, you know, to a standard, and they raised them to get ready to come up to play varsity in the future. Like they did a really good job, even to come down to, hey man, make sure you tie your tennis shoes up.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that's run over is it's not a whole bunch of new plays. It's not a big defensive scheme or anything they're doing. They practice on Monday, walk through on Tuesday, play on Wednesday, chill on Thursday, chill on Friday, chill on Saturday, chill on Sunday.
3 days of practice.
That's
2 days. 2 days of practice. 2 days of practice to play on the third day. That is some serious
12-6, summertime, springtime, kids leaving from over at Vernon Johns, coming over here to the weight room, eat the food, whatever we have, go in there and work out, leave. They great job of coaching. They did a great job of coaching. Like those kids, they had them to the standard, and they talked to the parents. They did everything that has to be done in order for this program to go further. And I wish them the best of luck going out to play there. It's like you say, anything can happen. Thomasdale got some good athletes too, man. They could catch us.
Yeah.
You know, they could really catch us. But I mean, On this one, I would just say I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes things are already written in the great book
It is.
for us. And just like last week, when all those teams lost, some things are already written in the great book for Petersburg
Right.
football. Also, Coach, 3 points.
Oh man, 3 points again. Okay,
3 points.
3 points versus Thomasdale. Okay, you got to go back and you got to make your corrections again. First one, we cannot have any special teams mistakes. No special teams mistakes. Coach Scott, why do you say that? Because special teams was our pillar at first, and it was doing great for us, and that's where we miss Xavier King.
Mm-hmm.
So you need Xavier King really to get healthy, and that may not happen this week, so somebody else has to step up. Let's just don't have no miscues.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 2, no big plays giving up on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
Make Thomasdale have to continuously drive down the football field. Are they capable? Yes, they are capable of doing that, but it's making them chew up the clock, and it's going to give our offense a little bit of time to get themselves together, and us enough time to prepare ourselves for those two-way players to come on and play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 3, hey man, everybody got to go out here and play hard and try to stay healthy. That's the biggest grant of opportunities and chances that we have in order to get a W this game versus Thomasdale.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, that game versus Thomasdale will be at Thomasdale on Thursday. Game time 7 p.m.
Thursday.
And you can get your tickets at GoFan.coach. And again, Coach, some things are already written in that great book.
Yeah.
And hopefully that our name is on that playoff roster spot come this weekend.
That'll be great. That'll be great. But if not, that's how the Lord made you to be. But you know, Petersburg football gonna move on and gonna move on to something great.
Something great. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to roll wave.
Roll wave.
All right, Coach. Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
And we'll either be talking about playoffs or be wrapping up with the football section of Coach's Corner this year. Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Petersburg Athletics, and on YouTube at Petersburg Athletics. We'll see you next week.